of extra effort. And we've been talking about the fact that a market shift is an era of opportunity for real estate agents who live to the right of mediocre. And you remember the line that I had you draw. And if you haven't done it before, just draw a line left to right, right to left, doesn't matter. And on the far left is number 1. And on the far right is 10. And you're looking at a scale of 1 to 10. And on the far right is massive success, complete, total success. And on the far left is complete and total failure. And one of the things we learned in studying this information that Gary shares in Shift is that there's nobody who lives completely on the left. There's also no one who is a complete and massive success. And most people end up somewhere in the middle, somewhere between 4, 5, and 6. And the path to the middle is doing what you want, okay? Doing what comes natural, doing what's easy. So when I say you have to live to the right of the middle, it means you have to live in that era of extra effort. Now, the next conversation is, what do we need to do? Where's our opportunity in order to have a breakthrough? Okay. Now, Gary shares the answer to that question on page 38 of the forward, drive through to breakthrough. And here's what he says. If you want to run through a wall, don't judge your efforts based on the wall. Let the wall judge your effort and deal with it. If you want to run through a wall, don't judge your effort based on the wall. Let the wall judge your effort and deal with it. What's the wall? Well, the wall for you is the real estate market is shifting. The wall for you is the National Association of Realtors just reforecasted 2022, and they're calling for 4.9 million homes sold. There were 6.2 million sold last year. That's a decrease of more than 20%. Sales are down here locally even more. The wall for you is fewer homes are being sold. There's lots of competition for the available income. Things are hard, and they're going to get harder. In other words, that wall just got bigger. It got harder to run through. The wall might have been easy to run through in the past, and it's not easy to run through anymore. The wall isn't your issue, your effort is. The market isn't your issue, your effort is. The number of homes being sold, the number of people who are ready, willing, and able to list their home today isn't your issue. Your effort is. No matter how bad things get, there is always plenty of people who are ready, willing, and able to buy and sell. Your job is to find the motivated. And when the market shifts, it becomes tougher to find the motivated. When the wall gets bigger, it becomes tougher to run through the wall. Your issue isn't the fact that there's fewer people who are ready, willing, and able to buy and sell. Your issue is your effort. If you want to break through during a shift, you're going to have to drive right through your target. So we need to drive through this target, all right? If the target is, I'm going to list 4 homes a month. That's my goal. And I focus on 4, I'm focusing on the target, and that's the wrong strategy. You want to focus past the target. Here's what Gary has to say about that. Professional golf instructors will tell you to imagine a point just in front of the ball where you are preparing to swing. The idea is to drive your stroke through the target, not to the target. If you're taking karate, the sensei teaches to imagine a point. Oh, this is a graphic example, so don't get weirded out on me or anything. Just listen, okay? The Sensei teaches to imagine a point at the back of an opponent's head as the target. When you aim for the nose, your strike falls at the end of your punch. When you plow beyond the point of contact and put your whack at the center of your wallop, you're at your maximum power. Again, your power comes from driving through a target. It's a graphic illustration. Yeah, Gary, you're right. It is. It's a graphic illustration, but a potent one. I agree with that as well. When you aim past obstacles, they may slow you down, but you will still have breakthroughs. When you aim past the target, if the target is 4 listings a month, when you aim past the target, they may still slow you down, but you will have breakthroughs. Laser-like focus and relentless effort. It's an incredible formula for achievement. Laser-like focus and relentless effort. Please write it down. Laser-like focus and relentless effort. We talked yesterday about the number of people that you have to speak to in order to close a sale, and we used a 50-to-1 ratio. And we discussed that if your goal is to sell 24 homes in a year, you would need to have 1,200 conversations. And if 1 out of 5 calls ends up in a conversation, in other words, in order to have 1 contact, you've got to make 5 dials. In order to talk to 1,200 people, you actually have to make 6,000 calls. All right. We broke it right down to the number of hours you would have to lead generate every single day in order to hit these goals. And it was 1.2 hours of lead generation. Now, that's a target everybody can hit. And if you aim at that target, you're going to fall short. So here's what I would tell you today. If that's the goal, double it, triple it, and aim for that. Let me talk to you about a guy named Craig Rieger. So Craig Rieger, back in 2008, 9, and 10, was having this conversation with his MAPS coach. And at the time, his team was listing 4 homes a month. And his coach had the drive-through to breakthrough conversation. And he said, Craig, what does a goal look like that would be aiming past the target? And he challenged him to create a 90 listing and 90-day challenge. If you YouTube this, you'll find it. If you Google it, you'll find it. And Craig and his team took on this challenge, and they actually listed 90 homes in 90 days. They went from listing 4 homes a month to 90 listings in 90 days. And my question for you is, what could you do if you were to think bigger and aim at a bigger goal in order to hit the goal? Now, Craig in his 90 listings in 90 days shares 2 best practices. I'm going to share 2 with you today. And then that's it. That's all the information I have for you. That's my share. And I'm going to ask you to tell me what you heard, and we're going to have a conversation. So he talks about door knocking, and we've talked about this before, except he goes into a little bit more detail, and I'm going to slow down in order to speed up. Door knocking with offers if you represented the buyer. So if you write an offer on a property and it doesn't get accepted, the property is under contract because they accepted another offer. Yes or yes? Yeah. And you have an offer in your hand that didn't get accepted. Yes or yes? Yeah. Okay. Take a black marker and black out the buyer's last name, black out the seller's last name, keep the offer amount, keep the date, keep everything else on that first page on the offer. Also, black out the other real estate agent's name. So you didn't have the listing in this conversation. Black out the listing agent's name. Keep your name, of course, because you want people to be able to see this offer was written by Clarissa Coddington with Keller Williams Realty. Now you're going to walk the neighborhood and you're going to knock on the door. It's the same conversation that we've been practicing for a long time, which is, hey, Aaron, the reason I stopped by today is because Bill and Bobby Smith around the corner from you at 123 Main Street, as you know, they have their home for sale. And it just went under contract. Now I know that because, and I'm holding up the offer. When I say this, I'm holding up the offer so they can see the offer. And I've made 40 to 50 copies of this because I'm going to give it to everybody who opens the door. And I know it just sold because I wrote an offer on it that didn't get accepted. And at that point, I'm going to hand them the offer. Now, here's what happens. You go from being a salesperson knocking on their door that they're not thrilled about having a conversation with you to immediately you've got validity, you've got credibility. Now they're interested. The door opens a little bit wider. They take that offer from you. They see an offer written by Clarissa Connington for 123 Main Street. They see Clarissa's name on it. They see the buyer's first name. They see the seller's first name. It's a real offer. And here's the message. I'm still working with this buyer. The buyer is still interested in buying in your neighborhood. And there's nothing else for sale. And just out of curiosity, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? Or are you thinking of selling your home? And guys, I've been teaching you this for more than a year, but not with all of this information. True, Clarissa?
Absolutely.
And what we did is we just added a little bit to it in order to make it a little bit more powerful. Yeah. Now, if you've got the seller, sell a listing, tell the world. Sell your listing, tell the world. I want you to do the same thing. You got multiple offers on your listing. And that means you have 3 offers, 1 got accepted. You have 2 offers that were not accepted. Black out the seller's last name, black out the buyer's last name, black out the other real estate agent's name who made the offer. Your name is still on the offer. You're going to knock on the door. It's the same conversation, but it's different. Aaron, the reason I stopped by today is, as you know, Bill and Bobby around the corner from you at 123 Main Street are selling their home. Matter of fact, I have the listing and it just went under contract. I know that because I'm the listing agent. Now we had 3 offers, which means I have 2 offers. Here they are. And I'm handing them to you with the buyer's name on them. I've got 2 buyers who are interested in buying a home in your neighborhood and there's nothing for sale. Just curious, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? Are you interested in selling your home? Now, if you hear, yeah, I would absolutely entertain an offer. Just bring them on over. I want you to follow up with, because remember, this is not your buyer, okay? It's somebody else's buyer. I want you to follow up with, I would love to do that, but first we need to get together and agree on price and agree on commission. I'm available tomorrow at 4. Would 5 be better for you? Now, what do you have? You got a listing appointment. And when they agree to hire you, because you agreed on price and you agreed on commission, now you're going to call that agent who presented an offer on your listing that just went under contract. And you're going to let them know, hey, Aaron, great news. I've just listed another home in XYZ neighborhood right down the street from the one you wrote an offer on for blank and blank. And would you like to schedule an appointment to come see it? 90 listings in 90 days. When you think bigger, you start thinking of ideas like this. You start working different. You're aiming past the target in order to have breakthroughs and hit the target. Now, I wonder how many of you, a little bit smaller group than normal today, and that's cool, because if there were one of you, I would be having this conversation right now. So every single one of you, just look at me. I'm talking to you. What would your 90 listing in 90-day challenge look like? It doesn't have to be 90 listings in 90 days, by the way. 10 listings a month? 5 listings a month, 8, 6, 4, 20? Honestly, your goal is my goal. What does that number look like? What are you willing to do in order to achieve it? And what would it do for you? Don't worry about the how yet. Worry about the what, worry about the why. The how will show up. You figure out the what and why, come to me and let me help you with the how. All right, talk to me.